Hello everyone. My ongoing action research project is titled Technology Use in the Elementary Music Classroom, an action research study of 4th grade unit test scores. In my classroom, I was seeing students who were bored and unengaged in what I was trying to teach them. As Casey said, in a world of 30-minute sitcoms, Sony PlayStations, Game Boy Mania, and virtual reality, chalkboard presentations from the 19th century just don't meet the educational needs of 21st century students. As a music teacher, I have the unique opportunity to help my students gain 21st century skills such as creativity, critical thinking, and collaboration. Burns said, "The more I thought about this, the more I realized that I was hindering ways to differentiate my instruction and reach every student in the class. As music teachers, this should be one of our goals, so how could I deny my students another way to learn and appreciate music? I could not and decided to explore music technology." Like Burns, I found myself needing to shake up my classroom with something that would immediately grab my students' attention. I turned to technology. For this project, I decided to explore the use of 3 specific types of technology: the interactive whiteboard, podcasts, and YouTube. I especially worked to incorporate the interactive whiteboard because it was an immediate way to better engage my students. I like the idea of podcasting because I only see my students every 4 days, and this makes a great way for the content to be available to the students when they're not in my room. And then finally, YouTube was a great way to make performances come alive for my students without having to leave the school. These 3 types of technology will enable the visual, oral, and kinesthetic learners to be engaged in the content. I also, for my project files, will be using Web 2.0 tools and WebQuests, but for the unit that I made that goes along with this project, these are the 3 types that I used. The purpose of my research is to determine if the use of technology is effective in my elementary music classroom. To determine this, I had 2 research questions. First, I needed to determine if there is a difference between test scores of students who are instructed using technology and those who are not. The operational definitions of variables for this research question are outlined on the table. My independent variable is the instructional unit including technology versus the traditional method. The dependent variable is the unit pre- and post-test scores. I also established this research question: how does using technology such as the interactive whiteboard affect learning in the elementary music classroom? The research has a personal importance to me because I want to know if the time and effort put into making these lessons and units that include technology is truly worth it. This research could also be used to prove to my administrators why technology in my fine arts classroom is just as beneficial as that in a core classroom. The research completed in this study is done to improve my own classroom. That is called action research. This means that I am conducting the research to determine the effectiveness of technology use in my own classroom, and then I will draw conclusions based on those results. The quantitative data collection, in my case giving and scoring the unit pre- and post-test, happened in a quasi-experimental research design. This type of research comes closest to an experimental design, but there is no random assignment of the participants. I chose my participant groups based on their homeroom placement. Pre- and post-tests were given and scored with both participant groups, but only one received the treatment of the technology unit. For my project, I chose to test my 4th grade students. They come to me, like I said, in the homeroom group, so that's how I chose to group them. It was easy and convenient. Group 1, which is the group that receives traditional instruction, had 20 participants, and Group 2, the group that will include technology, had 19. To answer the research questions that I proposed, I collected pre-test scores from my participant groups and conducted semi-structured interviews. And I actually just this week received notification from HSRB that my project is considered true action research, so I can continue on with my data collection. My post-test scores have not been collected as of yet, but I will update all of you when I do so. So even though I have not collected the post-test data, I went ahead and gave my students the pre-test because I normally would have done that at the beginning of the year, even if I wasn't doing this project. I analyzed the pre-test data from Group 1 using descriptive statistics. The results are shown on this table. The mean of the group of scores was 13.15, the median was 12, and the range was 24. And then here is the results from the pretest of Group 2. The mean was 12.68, the median was 14, and the range was 25. Then as you see, because the pretest scores of the two groups were similar, I know that they are starting with the same basic knowledge of the content. I plan to collect the post-test data in the beginning of October and then analyze the data in StatCrunch. And to do that, I will run a t-test of independent samples to compare the post-test scores of the two groups, to then determine if the use of technology had an effect on their unit test scores. To answer the second research question, which was how does using technology such as the interactive whiteboard affect learning in the elementary music classroom, I conducted semi-structured interviews with 2 elementary music teachers who used technology in their classrooms. After completing the interviews, transcribing them, and then analyzing the transcripts, I found 4 common themes touched upon by both teachers. Since they began to include technology in their daily lessons, they both find that the students are more focused and they give better formative assessments as teachers. They both stated that the transitions during class are smoother, and that's something that I hope to improve in my own classroom, even though that wasn't the point of my project. Along with these instructional benefits, both teachers stated that using their interactive whiteboards and other technologies has made their lives so much easier because everything they need is in one place. Their video clips, games, and listening examples are now found in one easy place. Although I have not yet completed the project, this is my hypothesis. The use of technology in my elementary music classroom proved to be effective in improving my students' test scores in this study. And like I said earlier, I'll be sure to update you as I finish. The limitations of my study come in that it is a single study in my own classroom. I will need to conduct further action research to prove or disprove my findings once they're complete. If my hypothesis is true, I will continue to make a conscious effort to use various technology tools as an integral part of my lesson planning. Lessons that I create in the future will include some sort of technology tool, whether it is a Web 2.0 tool or using a web quest. I will make sure that my lessons do include some sort of technology. I will also share my study to the administrators in my district to show that music lends itself to using technology just as much as the core curriculum. Also, I would like to conduct additional action research studies to prove or disprove my theory, and I'll need to make sure that those studies vary in age range, in grade, in unit content, and classroom setting. As for my personal thoughts on conducting research, I truly believe action research is a great, easy way to evaluate your own teaching. I did not do anything extra except for formally crunching the numbers and writing the report that I would not have done in my normal class. I would also love to collaborate with another music teacher to complete an action research project of a similar nature. And last but not least, here is my list of references that I included in my action research report. And like I said earlier, I'll be sure as I teach the unit, one using technology and then one using a traditional way, and then collect the data, I will be sure to update you on my findings. Thank you.